Live from New York, this is the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey. It's great to have you in today on a Tuesday. As always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. How you doing today on this Tuesday?
For football, Thanksgiving coming up on Thursday, 3 games, and then the Black Friday game. To get a lot to talk about here tonight.
Indeed we do. We got a lot in show today. We got some news that should have came, my guess is last week instead of some other news. I'll get into that. Also, Shedeur Sanders making history. First Browns quarterback, rookie quarterback to win their first game since 1995. So in his first start, people are already, hooting and hollering about his performance. We'll talk about that and break that down. A lot of people want to see me eat my words, although I don't really say much besides do better than 4 of 16, 47 yards, no touchdown, and a pick. But apparently people want to see me eat my words, so will I? You'll wait and see. But yeah, a lot to talk about for this show, a lot to get into. Week 12's in the books. Week 13 has a lot in store, so we're going to talk about that actually on Friday's show also. It's going to be cool. NFL game's going to end basically right as the show starts. It's a 3 p.m. start time for that Bears-Eagles game, so should be fun. But let's begin with the first topic of today's show, which is another solo topic, which is Shane Bowen has been fired as defensive coordinator for the New York Giants. This was a move that should have came before Brian Daboll, and I talked about that extensively when we got into that big debate. This is now the fourth quarter blown lead for the New York Giants. And again, the offense was able to put up double-digit leads in the fourth quarter that the defense couldn't complete on. 12 games this season under Bowen. Giants are 30th in total yards per game allowed, 30th in points per game allowed, 23rd in passing yards per game allowed, and 32nd in rushing yards per game allowed. And this, again, I'll keep harking back to it because I still think it's unfair. And this was Brian Daboll's fault, that the defense wasn't great. And we got into this big discussion about, well, Brian Daboll could have fired Shane Bowen. Well, he could have. Yeah, true. But what about Steve Tisch or John Mara at least pressuring Brian Daboll to make a decision? Well, owners don't really do that. They do. A lot of owners have. Jerry Jones has a lot. We've seen owners make some big-time decisions, including John Mara and Steve Tisch, co-owners of the New York Giants. 2006, Mara pressured Tom Coughlin to fire defensive coordinator Tim Lewis. 2017, John Mara and Tisch pressured Ben McAdoo to overhaul the staff. McAdoo refused. He was fired shortly afterward. Pat Shurmur reportedly pressured to make defensive staff changes. Shurmur refused. Ownership lost faith, and eventually he was out the door. So this was not, unfamiliar territory of a non-meddling owner, who would meddle in this circumstance. Maybe Daboll knew he was getting fired after this year. I'm not sure. But this was not, uncharted water for the owner to sort of say, hey, if you want this, it's your job or his. And I guess Daboll, if that obviously wasn't a decision, but Daboll chose his job, and Bowen lived to see one more week. But this should have been a decision long before Brian Daboll was ultimately fired, because this defense was pitiful. The Giants should have blown out the Detroit Lions, and they did. They were up 17-7 at one point, and then 27-17. They had these massive leads. Jameis Winston was airmailing it all day. He was having some beautiful deep throws. Isaiah Hodgins making his return to the Giants once again has had a big impact since he came back. But this offense has been an incredible story. I think the biggest question for this entire Giants season is, who's responsible for the signing of Russell Wilson? I genuinely think that is the biggest question to be asked for this Giants organization. Because it better have been a damn co-decision between Joe Shane and Brian Daboll. Because if it's Daboll's fault, that's 100% on him. If it was mostly Shane should have been fired as well and should be fired based on his some of his drafting and some of his off-season acquisitions, which I'll get into a little bit here. Because this defense is terrible, and the offense was it was good for one game against what ultimately ended up being an unhealthy Dallas Cowboys secondary, but it was the worst secondary in the NFL. So, again, put a little asterisk next to Russ's phenomenal performance. But this game for Jameis Winston, the last time the Giants had more total yards was back in 2019. So the offense was lights out all day against a Detroit Lions team that doesn't get blown out at home. Their average margin of victory at home is over 15 points a game. And they won by 7 in overtime to at the time, 2-9 New York Giants team that has no identity. Are they a good running team? No. Can they do anything on defense? No. Can they pass the ball well? Sometimes. They're on their third-string quarterback, Jameis Winston. And they went toe-to-toe with the Detroit Lions, who were just 15-2 last year, who have been shaky this year, but have done a great job against bad teams and blowing them out. And they weren't able to do it against this New York Giants team. The Giants should have won this game, and it shouldn't have been very close. But this Giants offense, like I mentioned, since Russell Wilson got benched, I can't believe it, but it's true. They're the third best offense in the NFL. In total offense, the New York Giants have the third best offense in the NFL. They're number 1 in time of possession. They were 19th under Russ. They're third in third down percentage. They're an incredibly efficient team. They have the third most fourth down conversions, and they're third in first downs gained. This offense has been electric. And this is a team that nobody had faith in. And by the way, this season, they have the most difficult schedule too. So they're actually able to be effective with Jameis Winston, who's a pushover in the NFL. Great personality, great person, very entertaining. But as a quarterback throughout his career, he's had his moments, but he's known for turning the ball over a lot. Well, yeah, he had an interception in this one, but I mean, the offense was explosive. A New York Giants team without Malik Neighbors, their best receiver, with Wan'Dale Robinson having a career game, with Isaiah Hodgins coming back. And Theo Johnson had a great game. All stepping up in big-time moments, led by Jameis Winston, their third-string quarterback, and Russell Wilson. I have no idea how he couldn't get this offense going, even with Malik Neighbors. And Jackson Dart's able to do it without him, and now Jameis Winston we're seeing against a Detroit Lions team who arguably has the best culture in the NFL, led by Dan Campbell. And they should have won this game. This shouldn't have been, as close as it was, but they can't stop anybody. And the big thing, right? The fourth quarter. Well, I have the updated numbers for the fourth quarter stats. They're terrible. They're really, really bad. Like, historically bad. Touchdowns allowed, dead last. Total yards allowed, dead last. Yards per play allowed, dead last. First downs allowed, they're second to last. Sacks, they have the second fewest sacks in the fourth quarter with 3. Abdul Carter, Kayvon Thibodeau, Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns. Some serious playmakers, and they have 3 sacks in the fourth quarter through 12 games. QB pressure rate, right? The big thing, right? The interim DC is a outside linebackers coach. Hopefully he can somehow figure this out. QB pressure rate, it's 29th in the league in the fourth quarter, 29.4%. EPA per play allowed, dead last at plus 0.26. So the defense in the fourth quarter completely collapses. The offense was never the issue, and that was my big thing. Why fire somebody? Yeah, he's the head coach. At least say it's your job or his. Would Daboll have accepted that his job would have been safe if he just fires Shane Bowen? Maybe. But it's not, uncharted waters to say, well, what did John Mara and Steve Tisch do to pressure Daboll to fire the issue? Brian Daboll wasn't the issue. I think next year he'll be signed somewhere. As a head coach, probably not, but as a coordinator, absolutely. So he could say, oh, well, the head coach, like for instance, if Brian Daboll was a defensive-minded coach, he could absolutely, and I think he wholeheartedly would, have taken over defensive play calling. But he's an offensive coach. You don't see Dan Campbell meddling with the Lions defense last week against the Giants. You don't see that. You don't see, coaches mix and match. If you normally, like Brandon Staley, head coach of the Chargers a while ago, defense was abysmal. Well, then he ultimately got fired. His side of the ball wasn't doing well. Brian Daboll's side was actually, when Jackson Dart was out there, do I have the numbers quickly? They were 5th in time of possession. They were incredible on 3rd down. In the red zone, they were tremendous. They were a top, I think they were the 8th best total offense under just Jackson Dart. With Jameis Winston plus Dart, since Russell Wilson got benched, they're the 3rd best offense in the NFL. And that's shocking to hear. But that's the data. That's the truth. This offense has been incredibly explosive. It's been very, very good ultimately, led by quarterbacks that we don't think are that great. Jackson Dart. We don't want to. It was the Drake May thing that they did, where it's like, okay, we have this veteran presence here. Is he good? Kind of. But we don't want the rookie to lose confidence behind potentially a bad offensive line. That's the exact same Drake May argument that I absolutely hated. And look what Drake May looks like now. After he got the experience his rookie year, is able to make the mistakes. The Patriots are the number 1 seed in the AFC. You let Russell Wilson start 3 games and not look that great? I mean, think about it. The defense, through a large part of that KC game, did its job. The offense only put up 9 points. That was the issue. It wasn't the defense against Kansas City, and that's when Kansas City was reeling and didn't have an identity. Their defense wasn't performing well. The offense wasn't great. Travis Kelce was non-existent and looking slow and old. They didn't have Rashee Rice at the time. It was the defense in that game that did its job through large parts of it. The offense couldn't convert on the Chiefs' mistakes. And in this one, Jared Goff, yeah, the numbers look fine. But ultimately, I thought the Giants, and I genuinely believe this, the Giants should have won about 14 times in this game. Because there were opportunity after opportunity, but if you let Jahmyr Gibbs, put up nearly 300 yards of offense and 3 total touchdowns, what can you do at that point? I have a news flash. In overtime, who do you think they're going to go to? Their best guy, Jahmyr Gibbs. Shocking. What was it? Was it the first play? Runs for 60-something yards for the touchdown? I mean, this is just an embarrassment. This should have happened weeks ago. Maybe after the Denver Broncos game where Mara was going to fire Daboll right as he lands. Why not fire the guy with the issue? They're up 19-0. 19-0, and they choked that lead away. Did it stay 19 points and the Denver Broncos win 33-19? No. The Giants ended up scoring 32 points total in that game and lost by 1. So I can't believe that I'm now a Giants defender. I'm a Brian Daboll defender here. But this move should have happened long, long ago. I think that it's unfortunate that it cost Daboll his job. And maybe that is Daboll's fault totally, that he didn't fire him quick enough. Maybe if you fire him quick enough, but I think it could have been, well, who is the replacement? What other option did you have? And we also have to remember, Wink Martindale and him got into a fight. And Martindale quit / Brian Daboll fired him, back in 2023. So the turnover would have been, a year and a half? So maybe that's another reason why Daboll didn't want to fire Martindale. But I think that there should have been some pressure at the ownership level to be like, hey, Brian Daboll, it's going to be you or your DC. You make up your mind on who wants to be fired. Because, again, the head coach, the offensive head coach, was doing his job. Once Russ got benched, the offense took off like lightning. It was a wildfire with a lot of fuel left ahead because clearly you've gone from the 8th best total offense to now the 3rd best total offense. Your time of possession is significantly better than it was with Russ. I mean, think about this. And it wasn't any, it's not something crazy. I think people are coming around and seeing my side a little bit more. Because here the fans, when Russ gets out there, it's all boos. And again, the Bears ending, can I fully blame Russ, or can I fully blame the Giants offense for sputtering? No, you have Russ at quarterback. So that was inevitable. Because the Bears at least have some talent. They have a competent quarterback. They have, competent coaching. That I don't necessarily be, Giants blow. No, if Jackson Dart was out there, if he didn't get concussed, I think they would have won that game ultimately. But I just think if you have Russell Wilson out there, your offense sputters. That, you look at his yards, you see what he had, 40-something yards? Yeah, because he threw it, 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and Devin Singletary ran it 42 yards. So I think ultimately this should have happened a while ago. This was long time coming. Shane Bowen, I think, should have been fired 4 or 5 weeks ago. Maybe Daboll still would have been the head coach. John Mara blaming Daboll for the Giants, failures. It's not his fault. At least your team took leads in the 4th quarter. I mean, we could be honest. At least they took leads in the fourth quarter, which is something that maybe the Giants of last year, led by Daniel Jones, couldn't do. It's unfortunate. And this is me, right? And if you've been following the show, when Daniel Jones was the quarterback here, I ripped on the Giants left and right. My eyes have been open now to this season about what the Giants should have been. And this was me coming into the year saying, how the hell are they going to win 4 games? And maybe they may not win 4 games. But I thought this would have been like the Daniel Jones of old. I expected Russ to be the long-term starter, at least for this season. I didn't think Dart would get out there until maybe late in the year, about around this time. And they may have been in the same record. But now with Jameis Winston and Dart out there performing as well as they have, this Giants team is exciting to watch. Like, this is you turn on your TV, the Giants are playing. Will they lose? Probably. But their offense is exciting. And maybe with this outside linebacker coach now, replacing Bowen for the DC, maybe their defense will step up, because having, a half sack for Abdul Carter this year is absolutely pitiful. I think the way the Giants are playing, and especially their depth chart, to me it makes no sense whatsoever, because technically, based on the depth chart, Abdul Carter is currently a backup. You can't have that. He has way more talent than he does as a backup linebacker right now on your team. Start him. I don't care where you start him, but he should be a starter. Anywhere. I don't care where you put him. Because I think really if you want to increase your defensive performance, Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, and Abdul Carter should be on the field at the same time most of the game. As long as they, keep their energy levels high. I think that ultimately, to answer the question I have in the lower third here, does Bowen's firing absolve Daboll of blame? I never blamed him. I never did, because I could see it. People go, the head coach, record, 20-40 or whatever the hell his record was. I don't care. It's the New York Giants. What do you want me to do? It's the New York Giants. They don't win. They're the second losingest franchise in the last 25 years? Close to it? They're not a winning team in the last decade. It's like them and the Jets. They're New York teams. They suck. That's just what, besides Buffalo, the New York Jets and Giants might be, in the 4 major sports, the 2 worst teams in the history of the last decade. Where's their playoff appearances? 2016 for the Giants, 2022 the Jets. We haven't seen them make a notable playoff run since Joe Namath was the quarterback. I know they made it a few times here and there, but I mean, let's be honest here. The Jets are a sorry franchise. They did look good though. They looked better with Tyrod Taylor, like I said. They had the Ravens on the ropes there. But yeah, no, I think that I'm not blaming Daboll of blame, or I'm not absolving Daboll of blame, because I didn't blame him in the first place. It wasn't his fault. The offense was electric. Shane Bowen's defense, it was easy to dissect. There wasn't really anything there. There wasn't any cool coverages. There wasn't any great disguises. There was nothing where I could say, oh my God, what a great defensive play call. Nothing like that. So it is what it is. He got fired. Should have been fired a long time ago, but this was coming. Just a matter of when, and I'm glad Mike Kafka took him 1 week to figure it out. All right, let's bring you in here. It's time to break into our next topic here, which is people want to see me eat my words with this. Shedeur Sanders, what a game he had. Over 200 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Did get the big time win. This was my best bet of the week because I did pick the Browns in this one, plus 3.5. Great Harvey hot hand pick. We did have a losing week again. Unfortunate, but we're still positive on the year, which is good. We're still making money. But yeah, the Browns are able to get a big time win here. Everyone's saying Dylan Gabriel, he couldn't do anything. Whatever the case may be. Shedeur had a great win. He becomes the first Browns rookie quarterback to win his first start since 1995. So congratulations, Shedeur. I want to start with you, though. Ultimately, how would you grade Shedeur's performance on Sunday?
I give him a positive grade. I give him a B, B plus maybe. I mean, he didn't have a great game, but he wasn't allowed to do a whole lot in this game. He doesn't lack for confidence. Before the game, he was asked, what are you going to show yourself, Browns fans, and your teammates? And his response was, I am who they've been looking for. That was his response. And obviously, he doesn't lack confidence. Like in at the 12-minute mark in the fourth quarter, it was 3rd and 26 in field goal range. Instead of a short pass to make it easier for the field goal, he tried a bomb to Cedric Tillman, which was incomplete. It looked like Tillman was open there for a second, but again, he was going for it. Sanders, I think he was fortunate that the disoriented Raiders defense did all it could to to beat itself. And I think Stefanski and Rees opted for a conservative game plan. They used Wildcat in the red zone, the reliance on the run game and the short passes. There's no interest in making the game a showcase for Sanders, that's for sure. They punted from inside the 30-yard line once. Sanders' 66-yard TD pass was completed behind the line of scrimmage. It was a great run and great blocking downfield that led to the touchdown. The game as it unfolded, they had a short field, a 13-yard TD drive for a 7-0 lead. And unblocked Myles Garrett most of the game. I think the Browns had 10 sacks in this game. And Garrett had like 5, I think. So pretty amazing. Geno Smith was inaccurate and missed on multiple game-breaking throws. But I could see why, in a way. He was trampled the whole game. He was just steamrolled, being sacked 10 times. Are the Browns setting Sanders up to fail? Some people are saying that. I don't think so. The plays offered to him were more conservative than those that have been offered to Gabriel so far, but maybe that will change now that he's won a game. He showed some good signs, I think. He was stepping up into the pocket. He had moments where he was quite decisive, I thought. He did pass up easier completions for more adventurous opportunities down the field. But he's going to get more experience, and maybe his mindset will change there. He threw an interception, which is a poor decision on a curl route. The Raiders tried to mimic the Ravens' all-out pressure on him, which he couldn't handle last week, and he handled it better this week, so that was good. He had just 1 sack due to it was great coverage downfield. He had no place to throw it. As you mentioned, he's the first rookie quarterback for the Browns to win a start since Eric Zaya did it in 1995. He was 11 of 20 for 201 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. His QBR was only 8.7, but his passer rating was 87.3. So I give him a B, maybe a B+.
Well, it's funny, QBR, right? QBR, it's a
decision stat.
It's a statistic based on difficulty of an opponent, your value in the game, what do you do to bring your team, whatever, down, up, stay neutral, whatever. It's funny. 8.7. I just want to quickly just think about it. That was lower than Geno Smith. Would you say Geno Smith did better than Shedeur?
Oh, well,
I'd actually say no.
His stats weren't that bad.
No, right? the stats were fine. But I think Shedeur actually played. But you know what? I'll get into it because people, on TikTok and on YouTube, right? They want to see me eat my words. What did I say? I'm praying for his downfall. What did I say? I'll tell you what I said. My expectation for Shedeur was to do better than 4 of 16, 47 yards, no touchdown, 1 pick, and single digits in QBR. Well, he got almost all of them. Almost. He didn't get out of the single-digit QBR stat, though. His pass rating was better than if he just threw it into the dirt overall, which would have been a 39.6. So again, I'm not preying on his downfall. That's not what I did at all. In fact, we both had Shedeur going early in the first round. So I think that, we have some history talking about this. My only issue with Shedeur was this level of confidence because he didn't yet prove it. If he builds on this, well, then take away the arrogance and it becomes confidence. It's the same argument I give for Baker Mayfield, and we haven't talked J.J. McCarthy, but his alter ego 9 is an embarrassment when he is statistically the worst quarterback in the NFL right now. So any alter egos, any nicknames, any high levels of ego and arrogance, if you can't back it up with your level of performance, that ain't confidence, that's cockiness, that's arrogance, and I will absolutely criticize you as I do for all other quarterbacks and all other players who don't back it up. I've done that over the course of my entire time doing this show, and I will continue to do it. This is a great performance. Is it shocking? Is it, oh my God? Is it the Justin Herbert performance against the Chiefs? No. It was against one of the worst defenses in the NFL, led by a quarterback who can't stop turning the ball over and who looked really, really bad and whose offensive coordinator has just been fired. I will give credit where credit's due. This throw to Isaiah Bond, 52 yards, beautiful. Roll out to the right, on the run, throw it deep. That's Colorado Shedeur. That was a beautiful throw, beautiful catch by Isaiah Bond. I wish he stayed on his feet for a touchdown. That would have been great. But this was a great play. And people are like, oh, that touchdown, though. Let's look at this touchdown. It's a check down. 3-4 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and Dylan Sampson does the most. Actually, that cornerback, I think his number is 30. Look at him on the play. He doesn't know what to do. He blocks his own guy on the route. If he just fills in the hole, top of the screen, what is 30 doing? Let Dylan Sampson run right by him. So I don't understand that. This was Dylan Sampson more than it was Shedeur Sanders, but I thought you'd give him an A for this performance, because I thought I was going to be, mean, according to people in the comments, by giving him a B. This was a B performance. When coming in as a backup for Dylan Gabriel, that was an F. And that's okay to say. That is perfectly fine to say. And rightfully so, Kevin Stefanski made him the starter for Week 13 against the San Francisco 49ers, I believe. So I'm giving him a B.
I gave him a B+. I gave him a higher grade than you did.
I thought you'd give him an A. I thought I was going to come in as the mean person and say, it's Shedeur.
I don't think it's an A with a QBR under 10.
Well, that's my question. How can I eat my words when I just said do better than what you did last week? I think that's an expectation, not a shot, not preying on his downfall.
Better. He did a lot better.
That's and that was my expectation. So Shedeur did exactly what I expected him to do, minus the single digit in QBR.
He's going to start again now.
He is going to start. And by the way, also, great performance again, but I think it's important to add context. Nearly three-fourths of his passing yards were yards after the catch. So, again, he got it to the guys about 50% of the time. And you know what? That's what great game managers do. Get it to your playmakers and let your playmakers make the big-time plays.
That's the play menu they gave him, game manager.
And I will also say what I didn't love, and maybe this is Kevin Stefanski's fault, taking him out in the red zone for the 2 Wildcat touchdowns. I don't know if they didn't practice red zone this week. I'm not sure. But to do that, I thought that was a little bit interesting, how you're taking Shedeur out. Both times, direct snap to, Judkins, and he ran it in on like the 3-yard line each time. I thought that was interesting.
That was a good play.
It was a good play. It was, but I just found that a little bit weird how your starting quarterback isn't even in there for your touchdown runs. Instead, you have to opt for the Wildcat. So I don't know if they didn't focus on red zone during their week of practice, but I just think, you know what? As of right now, all you got to do, just build on this. Don't say anything stupid. Don't do anything that makes people hate you more. Rex Ryan said, turn the I's into we's in the team. I agree with that, because that's what that's what Jalen Hurts does. That's what all these, big-time quarterbacks do. It's the team. It's we. It's not I. Could it be you? Sure. If Jalen Hurts does 400 yards, Saquon does nothing, he'll come in and say, great team win. He won't say, I did well this week, didn't I? No. And so I think,
I think that's a great point.
I think, that's what's important here. You can have confidence, but also acknowledge that this is a team game. Shedeur played fine, and you know what? This was a team win, an absolute team win, because Myles Garrett is going to break the sack record. He is literally unstoppable. He had 11 pressures in this game, which was 1/4 of all the pressures the Browns had in this entire game. Geno was absolutely terrible. The defense, pressured Shedeur on 57% of his dropbacks, but a number of those, because, again, this is a thing with rookie quarterbacks and young quarterbacks, they generate the pressures themselves because they're learning and adapting to an NFL pocket, so they move into pressure or they generate the pressure themselves. So I'm not just like I didn't fault Jackson Dart, I'm not going to fault Shedeur Sanders for getting pressure on like 46% of his pressures were his fault. Not going to do it, because that would just be, unfair.
We'll see what he does against San Francisco's defense.
Their defense with Robert Saleh has stepped up big, especially losing Fred Warner and also Hufunga's on Dre Greenlaw and Hufanga. They're both on the Broncos. You lost Bosa out for the year, so they're able to adapt at a pretty high level here. So we'll see. They're 6-point underdogs as of right now. And again, this is where I'm nervous. Brock Purdy looked horrible. 1 touchdown, 3 picks against, we're talking, a not great. Well,
they made him a game manager in the second half. He didn't let him throw the ball down the field. When he was throwing the ball down the field, it was intercepted.
Well, here's my concern. What's the 49ers offensive line going to do against Myles Garrett? I may take Browns +6. I don't mind that bet, because I think this Browns defense is good enough. This, again, put it however you want. I'm going to be real about this. This was a Browns defensive-led victory with Shedeur playing effective football. He did not win this game for the Browns. Because
he didn't lose it either.
He didn't lose, and that's exactly, I said, all you got to do is not lose the game. That was my expectation. Just do better than you did against the Ravens, and just don't lose the game. He did exactly that. You earned the B, and A would be 300 yards, couple touchdowns, or 250 yards and a number of touchdowns. You did fine. You had a couple big-time completions. You had a great touchdown. I mean, you had a great throw to Isaiah Bond. That throw was beautiful. Rolling out to your right, on the run, throw it deep, 52 yards to Bond. It was a great throw. So, I don't know. That's not me eating my words. That's me being consistent, I would say. So, sorry to everybody out there who thought, oh, this guy, Prentice downfall. Look what Shedeur does. Good. He did exactly what I thought he would. Better than what he did against the Ravens. This week, I expect the same. Because you set a precedent now. You set a level of play that we expect from you.
Yeah. Well, after the game, he said, a lot of people want to see me fail, and it ain't going to happen. And again, it's all about him. So that's something that's going to have to change, I think, or he'll alienate the locker room, and, it won't be good for the team.
Here's my question. Isn't that normal? Isn't that normal?
I don't think so.
America was rooting for the Indianapolis Colts. They wanted the Chiefs to lose. They wanted to prey on the Chiefs' downfall.
Yeah.
Because there's a.
But at the end of the game, did Mahomes say, "Boy, I had a great game, and everyone wanted me to fail, but I succeeded"?
Right. But what
he didn't. He talks about we together, we did that. We did it.
But my point is, saying people want me to fail, that's everywhere. Do you think that the Lions or do you think the Lions are hoping the Packers lose? Yes. Because they're playing them this week.
I don't think that's the context that he said it.
What do you mean?
He said it about himself. He said,
but I'm saying that's normal. That's normal. For me, I wasn't hoping Russ would lose. I expected him to. Because he's not a good quarterback.
Oh, but this is something Shedeur Sanders said about himself. People want me to fail, and it ain't going to happen. Well, it will happen if you're with a team that is terrible. Yeah. So it's a team game. Football, guess what, Shedeur? Football is a team game. It's not an individual game. You never hear Tom Brady say, "I was the greatest. I did this. I did that."
Well, now he might say that.
And he did play with a chip on his shoulder because he was drafted so low.
Yeah.
But he never said anything about it. I think this is a problem for Sanders. He has to get beyond that. I think someone should sit him down and talk to him about that.
You can't. You can't. I mean, if you do have that chip, you're not going to believe it until you prove yourself.
Maybe he'll listen to some of the commentators out there making these same comments, and maybe he'll learn from it, I hope.
You can't do that if you're at that level of confidence, whatever label you want to put on confidence.
It's good to have a high level of confidence. Prove it, show it on the field. You don't have to run your mouth about it.
I don't necessarily disagree with you, but you have to realize about who you're talking to and talking about.
He was talking to the populace. He was talking to everyone. He was talking to you, me, everyone when he said that.
Well, again, we're not preying on his downfall. We're not hoping.
No, I don't want him to fail. I want him to succeed, but I want him to be humble about it. Or show a little humility anyway.
I don't disagree. Again,
his father, I guess he gets that from his father. His father never showed any humility.
Well, it's good to have a level of confidence. The only issue is if you're not able to back it up, that's where the arrogance, that's where the big ego, that's where the cockiness comes into play. I said this before. There's a very thin line between cockiness and confidence. And I think the major difference is if you're able to back it up consistently, that's confidence.
Okay, well, he backed it up a little bit. I wouldn't say it was a great performance. Some of his passes looked like wounded ducks.
Yeah, no, there were a couple overthrows, absolutely.
And he looked like he was in outer space out there sometimes too. I think he did okay. I think he did what we thought he needed to do. And he's getting another start, so we'll see how he does against the 49ers. One game is a very small sample size.
True, but it's all about first impression.
Plus, it was against a very poor team.
True. I don't want to say that, but that is the true context. It's not a good team. It's a team that's head coach really looks in over his head, and that's Pete Carroll. The offense coordinator's fired. The quarterback is terrible. The defense just has Max Crosby. The offensive line is on its 12th rendition so far, and is playing Jackson Powers Johnson.
They really don't have any running game either.
Ashton Genty's been terrible. They targeted Trey Tucker 10 times. Brock Bowers, how many times did he get targeted? He got targeted 9 times, had 6 catches. You target Trey Tucker 10 times, 3 catches, 28 yards. On back-to-back 3rd and 3 and 4th and 3, both were bad throws.
I think they should just try to throw it to Bowers almost every play. Why not?
I don't disagree with that.
He's a great player, and he had a great season last year. They haven't used him right this year.
Ashton Genty, 17 carries, 50 yards, 2.9 yards a carry.
I know.
That's your offensive player of the year, offensive rookie of the year. Excuse me.
I thought it would be, but I didn't realize that he would be so poor, and the offensive line of the Raiders would be even worse.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. All right, coming up, we got to talk about who's the best team in the NFL. Bucks, Patriots,
Bucks,
maybe, who knows?
The Bucks,
Ravens, Chiefs,
the Broncos,
Colts, Broncos, who knows?
The Patriots,
Seahawks,
the Rams,
Seahawks,
the Seahawks.
Maybe we'll talk about that as well as your weekly report. And we got to talk about all these games. We got a lot of games to pick from. We're gonna go lightning round on that. We got 3 Thanksgiving games along with 1 Black Friday game. So we'll talk about that right after this very short break.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi. Get NordVPN's special offer and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey, and it's great to have you in today on a Tuesday. As always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Let's get into our next topic of today's show, which is talking about one team that has been absolutely unstoppable, and that is the Los Angeles Rams. Matt Stafford. What a year he's had. In the last 8 games, 25 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and currently, I think, and I'll get into this, is the MVP favorite, and I don't think it's particularly close anymore. The defense has been great. Sean McVay's been incredible. Devontae Adams looks like prime Devontae Adams. Puka Nacua, I mean, he's been all over the place this year. Kyron Williams in the running games is picked up. There's no holes in this team. So they went out against the Buccaneers, and then ultimately Baker Mayfield did end up getting hurt in this one. Teddy Bridgewater, yikes, he was really, really bad in this game. But again, backup, not expecting to play. It was a rough time for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So ultimately, I think after this performance, and so far we're looking at it, they're 9-2. Are they the best team, not only in the NFC, but in the NFL?
I think so. They're number 1 team in multiple Week 13 power rankings due to the best point differential of any team. They're the top MVP candidate in Stafford. They have a top-ranked defense. The only team in the top 5 for both offensive and defensive expected added points per play. They're the league's best point differential at 127, plus 127. They have a very versatile offensive scheme with a great head coach and pardon?
The head coach, Sean McVay.
Yeah, Sean McVay. Do you think either the Patriots or the Broncos are better than the Rams? Could they, in a game, if the Patriots are playing the Rams next week, would you pick the Patriots? I wouldn't.
I would need to see the
if the Rams were, no, I'm just saying win, a straight up win or loss. I don't think the Patriots could beat the Rams. How about the Broncos? I don't think they could beat them either. So they're the 2 best teams behind the Rams, in my view. They've won 6 games in a row. They're one of the best wide receiver combos in football with Nacua and Adams is coming on strong now, and the chemistry between him and Stafford is really getting much better. They play excellent complementary football in all phases of the game. Their offense, the total ranking, total offense is number 9, scoring with 358.4 points yards per game, and they've scored 39 TDs. Their passing is number 5 at 248.4 yards per game and 30 TDs. The rushing is number 22, 110 yards per game and 8 TDs. On the defensive side, it's also ranked number 9, giving up 311 yards per game and 18 TDs. Passing, they're number 13, giving up 208.5 and 13 TDs. And rushing, number 13, 102.7 yards and 4 TDs. I think they're a complete team. I'd be surprised if they lose again.
Oh, wow. And looking at the schedule, there is one game that they may lose to. And I think this team is that close, if not directly even with them. And that game, that team, they're playing Thursday Night Football, December 18th, in this team's stadium. And I'm going to shock you. No, the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh.
Here's my thing. They already played, and they won by 2. The Rams did. And I think that's in large part due to the fact that Sam Darnold had 4 interceptions. And I think you go up against this team that has been literally unstoppable. I mean, Devontae Adams is probably the best red zone threat in the NFL right now. I mean, he can't stop scoring. Puka Nacua early in the year, offensive player of the year runaway. I think at this current moment, Matthew Stafford, I don't care what the odds say. I haven't looked at the updated odds, but last time I checked, which was before this week, him and Drake May were about that close from one another. In my opinion, the MVP race is over. Unless Matt Stafford falls off a cliff and Drake May, all of a sudden you give a little bit of respect to a margin of victory and Drake May plays out of his mind. I think the recent weeks we've seen Drake May a little bit shaky. Matt Stafford's the runaway MVP. It's done. Case closed. I mean, it's finished. Matthew Stafford will win the MVP this year. That being said, I think that the Seattle Seahawks, led by Sam Darnold and this team overall, I think that they're probably the best matchup for the Los Angeles Rams. And I think there's an opportunity in Seattle for the Seattle Seahawks to beat them. And I think, honestly, they're a more complete and even team toe-to-toe than if we did the hypothetical situation against the Denver Broncos. Because if somehow, in some way, Bo Nix goes to his old way last year, where the offense was clicking on a lot of cylinders, I think then all of a sudden you have a fully competent team on both sides of the ball. Because the Broncos, they may break the sack record this year. I mean, they're averaging, 4.5 sacks a game, which is absurd. Their defense has been insane, pressuring the quarterback, getting to them, stopping big-time plays. They beat Mahomes. That's massive. I mean, we're talking about Mahomes against the Broncos. There is really no other dominant head-to-head than that in the NFL since Mahomes came into the league. Maybe Raiders, Chiefs. But Mahomes has beat up on the Broncos time and time and time again. I think if Bo Nix got his act together, and by the way, they don't have a superstar. Cortland Sutton's fine. He's a very, very good receiver. But he's not a Puka Nacua. He's not even a Malik Neighbors. He's not one of those big-time receivers, a Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. I would put him at the tier 2 level. Troy Franklin is the other reliable receiver they got. Marvin Mims, when he's out there, has a couple good moments. Is R.J. Harvey, a really dominant running back? He's better than Ashton Genty, I think. J.K. Dobbins, is he all that great? He's effective, but is he a guy that you really fear? Not really. They just happen to have the best offensive line in the game. They have very, very good complementary pieces around them. Evan Ingram has been, I think, a pretty decent piece for them, although I'm not sure why they played their fullback tight end 3 so much. That's whatever Sean Payton wants to do. They just have a dominant defense. So I think really the Seahawks and the Broncos, if the Broncos got their act together, and if Sam Darnold doesn't throw 4 interceptions, those are my 2 top teams. But just because of today, if you were to ask me who's the number 1 team in the NFL, I got to give it to the Rams. But I think that ultimately, if everybody's healthy, if both these teams go up in Week 16 and everybody's healthy, I'm giving Seattle the legitimate shot of beating them.
I don't know.
Pick them
Sam
in Week 18.
Darnold hasn't had much luck against the Rams.
I understand.
Going back to his time against the Vikings, he hasn't beaten them.
Correct. But he was that close. He just had 4 interceptions.
4 interceptions is why they lost.
Well, here's the thing. You have 4 interceptions and you lose by 2 and only allow 21 points. The Seahawks defense is legit.
Well, that's on Darnold, that loss.
It is. 100% it is. But I think that this is a legitimately competent team.
He's seeing ghosts against the Rams.
That's what I fear. I fear he's back to New York Jets Patriots seeing ghost level, and that's not good. When you play against that team and you're already thinking, oh my God, I'm probably going to lose, that lack of confidence is how you'll lose games. And for some reason, the second half, everybody on the Seahawks just, they take their foot off the gas. They won by 6 to the Tennessee Titans. After dominating them through 3 quarters, they let them back in this game and were that close to actually losing on a potential game-winning drive. Are you kidding me? So I don't love some of these games, but they have opportunities to blow teams out. Like against the Cardinals, they had 2 defensive touchdowns. The Commanders, they embarrassed. They would actually beat the Texans and put up 27 points against an incredibly dominant Texans defense.
Who do they have left? The Rams.
The Rams got at Panthers.
Win.
At Cardinals.
Win.
Versus Lions.
That'd be a close game. I still think they win.
At Seahawks.
I think they'll win that game.
At Falcons.
They'll win that game.
At Cardinals.
They'll win that game.
So you're telling they go 15-2.
They might lose 1 along
I think it's
the
the
way.
Seahawks one.
Maybe.
I mean, are you saying that here's the thing. I don't trust the Lions defense.
The
They're too banged up.
are not as good as they were last year.
If you could pressure Jared Goff, he becomes very erratic.
They're not as good as they were last year, and I'm not sure it was a wise move for Dan Campbell to take the offensive play calling over because he goes for it too often on 4th down.
Well, I actually enjoy it because we had to run the last
It's fun
few
to
weeks.
watch, and I think it's a character building thing for the team. But the game he went for it, they lost to was it they lost to? The Eagles?
What, recently?
Yeah. Recently they went for
Eagles.
it. Yeah. They went for it so many times on 4th down, and they didn't get there.
Right.
When they could have kicked field goals.
Fair.
I mean, the field goal, the Giants, here's a Kafka. He ruined a 14-play, 86-yard drive, got down to the 6-yard line, and let them go for it on 4th down. When they were up by 3 points, there was very little time left. They could have kicked the field goal, making the Lions have to score a touchdown to beat them.
Yeah.
Okay? And the Lions, with 28 seconds left, kicked a 59-yard field goal to tie it and go into overtime. Yeah. So you fired Shane Bowen, but hey, that game is on you, Kafka.
Maybe.
You made the bad mistake. They should have won that game.
Yeah.
He took the victory. He
robbed them of the victory.
Robbed them of the victory there, I think.
Well, I mean, think about this. A Giants team led by actually no, the Lions, first of all, in that game. Jahmyr Gibbs was unstoppable. Simply unstoppable. If you have that level of running game, you're going to beat anybody.
Well, if you can run through a hole that's as wide as a Mack truck, it's not too hard to score on a 69-yard play, right? The hole was there was nobody over there. He ran right down the field.
Nobody was catching.
It's ridiculous. I think the Giants, part of their problem, the fourth quarter, you showed all those stats where they're so bad. They're tired. Maybe they're not in good shape. They're just tired.
Last and everything in the fourth quarter.
They run out of gas. They haven't got the gas to go through the rest of the game.
Well, that's on your strength and conditioning, coach.
Yeah.
That really is. All right, is it time for the weekly recap? Let's go with the weekly report here. So every single week throughout this NFL season, on Tuesdays, this is your strong topic here. The weekly report. You give a headline for every single game, almost every single game.
So they're going to take about 3 hours tonight.
Strap in and let's go. No, we'll go wrap around.
Okay, let's go.
Thanksgiving games. All right, the first one, which is Colts Chiefs. What's your takeaway on this one?
Okay, you got the headline there. Butker kicks 5 field goals and Chiefs overtime win. The Colts had their chance with a 29 fourth quarter lead, but in a must-win game, the Chiefs pulled it out with a fourth quarter and overtime stampede. And I will say that the Chiefs, while they're back in it sort of at 6-5, you're not going to make it to the Super Bowl if you have to kick 5 field goals in a game to win, okay? That just ain't going to cut it. The Chiefs looked dead for 3 quarters and then finally came alive in the fourth quarter and overtime. They were able to slow down Jonathan Taylor, who, while he had 16 carries for 58 yards, didn't touch the ball in the fourth quarter. They just gave it to Daniel Jones, who wound up being 19 of 31, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. He couldn't move the ball at all in the fourth quarter. They didn't even get a first down or in overtime. So why didn't they give the ball to Jonathan Taylor for a few plays? I think that's on the coaching. Mahomes was a hero in this one, 29 of 46, 352. No touchdown passes, though, and an interception. And the Colts, Hunt actually had a pretty good game. 30 carries, 104 yards, and 1 touchdown. And Rashee Rice is back now, 8 receptions, 141 yards. I think when the Colts went away from Taylor in the fourth quarter and gave it to Jones, who couldn't deliver even 1 first down, that was their shortcoming. The Chiefs scored 11 points to tie it up, and then the Colts lost in overtime. They got to figure that out. I think you got to stay with the balanced offense, particularly when you got the best running back in the league.
Right. Well, I got a couple issues with this. First of all, Shane Steichen coached scared. He coached really, really scared. And I'll give a lot of credit to Steve Spagnuolo. Late in the game, he didn't really do any massive blitzes, pressure Daniel Jones a lot. So Daniel Jones was able to cook, operate, kept dinking and dunking, throwing it to the big time plays, big time receivers. He had 2 touchdown passes in this one. All of a sudden, late in the game, picks up the blitz. The offense doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know how to operate this whatsoever. And so what does Shane Steichen do? He plays super, super scared. One of the best fourth down teams in the NFL all of a sudden is punting, is kicking field goals, is punting away, not going for it on 4th and 3. This is a team that always goes for it on fourth down, basically. They're one of the best fourth down teams in the NFL.
But if they were going to be conservative, why didn't they hand it off to Taylor in the fourth quarter?
Well, no, that was the Chiefs' big thing. I want Daniel Jones to beat us, and he did through 3 quarters. And then in the fourth quarter, Steve Spagnuolo went to 15 on the pressure scale, and Shane Steichen could do nothing about it. That's the first one. The offense, scared, terrified. Second one would be, this big acquisition that the Colts got? You traded away one of your backup receivers and also 2 first-round picks. Why the hell was he guarding Tyquan Thornton?
Should have been starting
not Rashee Rice, not Worthy. This was crazy. While targeting Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy, 2 targets, 0 catches. You had Kenny Moore guarding Rashee Rice. He's your cornerback 3. Why the hell is Sauce Gardner not guarding the best wide receiver in the NFL? Best wide receiver for the Kansas City Chiefs, who had 8 catches for 141 yards? Why is he guarding Tyquan Thornton?
Or at least why didn't they switch over to it after Rice caught 4 or 5?
Great question. I have no idea because Kenny Moore allowed 3 catches, 72 yards, and 3 first downs while in coverage with Rashee Rice. Your cornerback's getting cooked. Switch. Tyquan Thornton. He goes straight. That's all he does. He goes straight. He was on the New England Patriots. Was it Matt Patricia at the moment? Was he the one calling plays back then? Just go straight. That's all he was. He's had a couple of big catches this year. Have Tyquan Thornton beat you, not Rashee Rice. Please. I think also a lack of discipline in this one. Penalties were a killer. That opening drive. You were going right down the field, running the football at an effective level. Then all of a sudden, you had a bunch of snap penalties. All of a sudden, you back up and you have to, what was it? You had to punt it away.
Yeah.
I think that this was a game that the Colts should have won. You literally had the Chiefs on their heels, up 20-9. Spagnuolo turned the pressure up. It was a great defensive performance and great defensive play calling by Steve Spagnuolo. Mahomes just did what the Colts, he didn't do anything too spectacular. The Colts gave it to them, 100%. Because you have Kenny Moore's getting cooked all game. Let's keep him on wide receiver 1. You have Travarius Ward who had a couple good plays, but he wasn't all that great. Sauce Gardner's guarding a guy who goes in straight lines. What reason? I have no idea. So Lou Anarumo, he's had his success with Mahomes, not as of late. I think that this was a complete miscall on every facet of the game. You became very conservative. You have to stay. You bent to the Chiefs. And that's the one thing. If you could play your style of football, you are going to beat them. The Ravens bent to the Chiefs' will. The Bills, they stayed on cue. James Cook, Josh Allen, Superman, James Cook. That's exactly what you needed to do. And they won. The Colts played their way through, especially in that first half. They played their way, and the Chiefs didn't really have many answers. Then all of a sudden, late in the game, it gets a little close. Steve Spagnuolo turns up the pressure. Okay, well, we're not going to give it to the guy who should be winning Offensive Player of the Year. No, we're going to let Daniel Jones, who's had a lot of question marks over the last few weeks, we're going to put the ball in his hands. I think that this was a complete misplay by the Colts.
I don't get it.
Again, this is another win the Colts should have had that they didn't. So,
all right. Let's move
missed
along
opportunity for me. Let's go to the next one here.
Okay, the next one, the Steelers and the Bears. Caleb Williams throws 3 TDs and Rodgers-less game. So Caleb Williams, 3 TDs is too much for the Steelers. As the Bears proved with this win, they are wheelers and dealers. And with Rodgers out with the broken wrist, he was 25-5 against the Bears in his career because he played a lot against them when he was with the Packers. Let's see. The Bears have won. Now they're 8 of 9. They've won. They held on to the late lead, which was good for them. They tipped a pass at midfield for the Steelers' turnover on downs at the end. Williams strip sacked by T.J. Watt in the end zone, recovered by the Steelers for a TD, was their big play. Mason Rudolph, a decent game, 24 of 31, 171, a TD and an interception. Gainwell had a good game, 10 rushes for 92 yards, and Austin was the leading receiver with 4 for 36. Caleb Williams, another good game, 19 of 35, 239, 3 TDs. The running back, Monage, 12 carries, 48 yards, and a touchdown, and DJ Moore, 5 receptions for 64 yards. I like the Bears. They're leading the division, interestingly enough. That's territory they haven't been in for many years. They have a really good coach. Their rookie coach, Ben Johnson, doing a really good job. I think he's got Caleb Williams playing more within himself instead of running all over the place when the play starts to break down. So I don't know. I think the Bears on the Black Friday game, we'll talk about it. I'm not sure they can beat the Eagles after the Eagles lost to the Cowboys and they're playing at home, but I think they might be able to cover.
Here's my question. Is the Steelers' record, by the way, Mike Tomlin never had a losing season. That doesn't matter anymore. That's great. You're not god-awful. Doesn't mean you're good.
Well, a winning season means you're pretty good.
You think 9-8 is acceptable for a coach like Mike Tomlin?
Better than 8-9.
That just means you're average.
Yeah, well,
now
a little better than average if you're...
Well, that's because now we're at 17 games.
There's a lot of teams out there would take Mike Tomlin's record over the last 15 to 20 years, however long he's been coaching.
I don't think they would, because you're never in a position to get a superstar early in the draft unless you trade up for a pick. You're stuck at, the 16th overall pick always, which means you're going to get, good talent, but not superstar level talent.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually a disadvantage, but I'm looking at the schedule here. Versus Bills, at Ravens, versus the Miami Dolphins, at Lions, at the Browns defense, versus Baltimore. I mean, how many wins do we honestly have now for the Pittsburgh Steelers? I don't see many wins.
Well, they're now tied with the Ravens. They're tied with the Ravens.
Ravens
the
gonna
Steelers.
Pass Ravens going to pass.
I think the Ravens are on a roll here. They've won, 5 in a row now. So I think it's going to be tough for the Steelers. I probably need to get Rodgers back, but how good's he going to be with a sore wrist? I mean, when you break your wrist, it's going to be hard to play. Is it throwing hand? Is throwing hand at his broken wrist?
I don't know on the top of my head. It's fractured also. It's not broken. It's fractured.
Fractured. Well, still.
He's going to be back this week.
You don't think it hurts? I'm sure it hurts.
I will say, this Bears defense still scares me. They're 27th in the league in points allowed, so that's the downfall of this. But the offense is great. It's number 8 in the NFL in points scored, and also 6th in total offense. So this is an offense that's operating at a high level.
They have a running game, too. They have a running game, which they've never had.
Well, there's been moments here. Like, for instance, their starting running back, DeAndre Swift, had 1.9 yards a carry, 8 carries, 15 yards. But Monangai had a great game. And so, define great, 4 yards a carry and a touchdown. But, no, I think ultimately, this offense will go as far as Ben Johnson could scheme it. I don't think that Caleb is going to be a guy, he lives off script. But that's also where all the mistakes come into play and the ineffectiveness of his NFL offense.
But he's playing within the system.
There are several moments, more than last year, 100%. I think the big one is the decrease of negative plays. He only had 1 sack in this one. Last year, he had a lot of the allowed pressures on him. So, yes, he was getting sacked at an incredibly high rate, but a lot of them were due to his own fault. This year, he's taken a lot fewer negative plays, so he's not always behind the sticks at a 2nd and 15 or a 3rd and 12. You're now at a 3rd and 7 or a 2nd and 6, where you could actually operate the offense a little bit better. So the decrease of these negative plays, I think, is just helping this offense go. Yeah. And I think ultimately, you keep giving it to DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Loveland has been pretty good for them so far. So I think this Bears team is going to be interesting. The fact that they're 8-3 after being 5-12 last year, that's Ben Johnson and how he operates this. Dennis Allen's defense, though, I'm a little bit worried about that. Let's go to the next one there.
Okay, Patriots, my team. I got my Patriots sweatshirt on and my Patriots hat. The Pats win 9th straight and win over the Bengals. I watched this game. I was a little worried. It was closer than it really should have been, but Pats pull it out. Pats' winning ways continue, now 9 in a row, beating Joe Flacco and the Bengals, whose season was over a long time ago. Pats' first team to reach 10 wins, 6-0 on the road, came back from 10 points down. Left side of the offensive line, injured, out of the game. It's Wilson with an ankle injury and Campbell with a knee. I hope he's not going to be out for a long time because he's pretty important to them. Despite that, May 22-35, 294 TD and an interception. Let's see, he did throw a pick 6, but your favorite player Marcus Jones had a pick 6 as well. A 2.5 game lead now on the Bills and a half game up on the Broncos for the best record in the league. The game was close with Fackrell driving the Bengals to the Pats 26 with 20 seconds left, but missed Gesicki on a 4th down play to end it. So it was a close game. Pats joined the 1961 Houston Oilers as the only team to win 9 in a row, scoring 23-plus points and giving up less than 23-plus points in each game. The stats, I mentioned May's stats. Henderson, a good game, 18 carries and 66 yards. Hunter Henry, great game, 7 catches, 151 yards, and a touchdown. Joe Flacco, 19 of 37, 183, 1 TD and an interception. Brown had a good game. They had running game going for the Bengals, 19 carries, 107 yards. And some guy named Iosivis had 4 catches for 61 yards. They missed Jamar Chase. The Patriots are lucky Jamar Chase wasn't in this game.
Well, I don't think that they necessarily missed Jamar Chase because they were still that close. They're on the New England 26-yard line.
Yeah, but what might have they done
and that's
in
also
the rest
T.
of the
Higgins
game?
went out with a concussion.
What might have they done if they'd had him the whole game?
Well, what happens if Marcus Jones doesn't have a pick 6?
Yeah, I know. I'd say it was a close game.
Look, I'll say this.
Closer than it should have been.
Oh, absolutely. It's. I mean, they were down 10-0 early in the game.
Yeah. Well, Drake May came out, played terrible the first couple of drives.
Correct, and that's something the Patriots keep
all
doing.
Over the place.
That's something the Patriots do. And if you go up against a team, a veteran playoff team, because they're going to clinch the playoffs if they haven't already very, very shortly at this point. They're going for the number 1 seed right now. And I think ultimately, this was probably, you go up against a veteran team in the playoffs, you're losing that game. Hell, I think if Joe Burrow was the quarterback for this game and they go up 10-0, I think Burrow leads him to a victory in this one. I genuinely do. I think Joe Flacco, he's had a couple really, really good moments. But, I mean, if Joe Burrow's out there and he's up 10-0 against the New England Patriots with the way the Patriots were playing in this one, all of a sudden laying Chase Brown, they have the number 1 rushing defense, and Chase Brown goes for over 100 yards against them, Joe Burrow's winning this football game, 100%. Ramondre Stevenson, they gave him an extension. Yikes. 6 carries, 5 yards. It wasn't good. And against one of the worst defenses in the NFL, they run it 31 times, 107 yards, 3.5 yards a carry. And that's inflated by Demario Douglas's 14-yard run. So if you take that away, it's significantly less. So I think that this was a bad game for the Patriots.
Let's remember that the 2 offensive linemen got hurt in the game.
Right. But again, we'll see what that does for this week.
Who do the Patriots play
They play
next?
the Giants on Monday Night Football. That's going to be rough if you put Brian Burns and Abdul Carter, or hell, just the interior of the defensive line with Roaches and also Dexter Lawrence. I think Drake may be under a little bit of duress. It's, I think, a 7.5 point spread right now. And with Jameis Winston playing like he is, I may take the plus 7.5 there. I don't know.
I might too.
You'll see on Friday. But yeah, no, this is a game that the Bengals probably should have won. I mean, they were right down there at the New England 26. I think that if the Patriots want to go far, if they want to shatter expectations, if they haven't already, after surpassing their last 2 seasons record combined, I think that they got to shape and get it together a little bit. You can't have a 0-point first quarter. You can't be down 10-0 and expect you to score 17 points in 1 quarter just to keep yourself alive in the game. You can't have that happen if you're a serious
Patriots'
contender.
secret weapon is their field goal kicker. He's very good.
Borregales, yeah. I mean, after having Chad Ryland, who, again, you drafted him in, the 4th round? Thanks, Belichick. He was the worst kicker that first year with him.
Yeah, he's kicking well now for the Cardinals.
Right, and we got, Borregales, who kicked the game-winning field goal against the Buffalo Bills and has been very, very efficient. He's missed a couple here and there, but he's been very good for them thus far. So.
He was good in this game.
I'll also say Belichick letting Nick Folk go. Nick Folk hasn't missed this year. I'm going to point that
Nick
out there as
Folk
well.
can't kick a 55-yard field goal anymore.
I don't know. You put all 40 years
so.
or whatever. How old
I
is?
don't think he can kick the
He
long
might have
field goal
one every year, maybe.
Yeah,
maybe early in the year, week 1 or so.
Okay.
Let's go to the next one there.
Okay, now
Speaking
we're looking
about
at
the
the
Jets.
Jets. The Jets. Here we are. Hapless Jets lose to surging Ravens. My takeaway on this one: the Ravens improved to 6-5, are very much alive in the playoff race. The Jets fell to 2-9 and continue to stink up the place. The Ravens sleepy in the first half. They were behind 7-3. But Henry scored 2 TDs in the third quarter, and they didn't look back. They got up 17-7, and game is pretty much over. The loss clinched the Jets' 10th straight losing season. That's pretty bad, huh? That's tough for Jets fans. 10 seasons in a row with a losing record. Baltimore, the punter, had punts of 56, 49, 74, and 67. The last one bouncing out at the 5-yard line of the Jets. So he played a big role in this win. Jackson, 13 of 23, 153. Henry, 21 for 64. Flowers, 5 for 58. Not big stats. The offense hasn't been that great. It's interesting. It's the Ravens defense that's doing it. And they did it to the Jets with Breece Hall only running for 44 yards on 16 carries. And Hall, also the leading receiver, with 4 catches for 75 yards. And Tyrod Taylor, 17 of 28, 232, I think, and 1 TD and an interception. The Jets have had it. They're done. The Ravens are surging. I think they need to get their offense more in gear.
Well, I think with Tyrod Taylor, you will. This defense has been really good. I don't know if it's, and again, I don't know how much to put on Lamar Jackson versus the Jets defense, but Lamar looks different coming back from the injury. He had that one really, really good game coming back, but this offense doesn't look the same. He's been missing Monday walkthroughs and is coming in on Tuesdays now for practice. So clearly something's still bothering him. Everybody's hush-hush about it. He's saying that he's not hindered by the injury, but this offense just looks weird now. 13 of 23, a passer rating of 76.9. Do we remember what Lamar looked like to start the year? He had like 15 touchdowns, 1 pick, 130 passer rating. He was, lights out. He gets this foot injury, and all of a sudden he's not the same. And also, add on top of the fact, he's not running the same. 7 carries for 11 yards. That's unacceptable for a guy of Lamar's stature. And we saw it against the Lions. When you play a spy there, all of a sudden he gets hindered a little bit. If he steps up in the pocket now, people are coming down with the spy on him, or maybe he's not as quick. Maybe he doesn't trust himself a little bit more. And the defensive line, if he steps up, collapses on him, he can all of a sudden run for 20 yards for a first down.
Well, how about Henry? He hasn't been running for 100 yards in every game like he did last year.
Right, and I think that's just due to the volume that he did last year. I mean, he was absolutely dominant. And I would also say, this is a game the Jets could have won. You're up 7-3 going into halftime. You look really good. Then all of a sudden, the Ravens have a couple big-time plays. And I'll agree with you, the punter, what a game he had. His average punt's over 61 yards.
Yeah.
So,
a 74-yard punt.
It's insane. Tyrod Taylor,
and a
though,
67-yard punt that went out of bounds, bounced out of bounds at the 5-yard line.
Hey, special teams is key. That's why it's 3 phases of the game in this one. Right. But no, this offense moves better with Tyrod Taylor. I said that. Justin Fields, he does not look like an NFL quarterback right now. Maybe not even a backup. Like Bryce Young looks better than him. Cam Ward now looks better than him. Justin Fields just doesn't look good. Mac Jones looks better than him.
No, you got
Kirk Cousins has looked better than him.
You have to be out on the field playing in order to see whether you look good or bad.
Well, there's a reason why he's
on the
not.
bench.
There's a reason why he's not.
No, I don't think it's all his fault. I think the offensive line has been terrible.
The offensive line's been disappointing.
And the receiver core for the Jets with Wilson hurt, there's nobody to throw the ball to.
A.D. Mitchell.
Oh,
2 catches,
wow.
42
A.D.
yards.
Mitchell, yeah.
He 2 catches,
a great
42
guy.
yards.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the next one here.
All right, the Seahawks and the Titans. The Seahawks beat up Ward. Darnold throws 2 TDs. My takeaway here, Darnold throws 2 TDs, and Ward sacked 4 times by the Seahawks defense, led to a Seattle victory that was close and intense. Ward, the most sacked quarterback in the league, was sacked 4 more times. Despite that, he had a pretty good game, I thought. 28 of 42, 256, and a touchdown. His QBR was 75.1, and his passer rating was 91, so it was not a bad game for him. Darnold hooked up with Nick Jigba 8 times for 167 yards and 2 TDs. That combo is maybe the best in the league. The Seahawks are now 8-3 in a game behind the Rams.
Well, I'll say this: the Titans should be 0-11. It's just that crazy Cardinals game where you get
the Cardinals gave him the game.
You intercept Cam Ward, then fumble it, then while picking it up, you kick it into the end zone, into Tyler Lockett's waiting arms in the end zone. That's how you lose. I mean, that's Three Stooges type stuff. So Cam Ward technically should be 0-11, but he is improving as time's going on. He couldn't stop turning the ball over. Now the last 3 games, 0 interceptions. So he's getting a little bit better. Could be when Brian Callahan
He
left.
played good in this game.
No, he played fine. He had his the highest completion percentage he has in the last 4 or 5 games. He had the most passing yards he's had in the last 3 games. I mean, he's been very, very effective.
QBR 75.1.
That's probably the best part about it entirely. I just think the offensive line is terrible. The offense has no real weapons. Calvin Ridley's done for the year. I mean, like, they're just not a good team. Their defense also is not really. You have a couple playmakers. You're just not a good team. You think L'Jarius Sneed wishes he left the Chiefs now? I don't. You think Calvin Ridley wishes he didn't turn down the Patriots' offer to be their number 1 receiver? I don't think so. Or I think he does regret it. But no, Cam Ward's improving. I think that this was an important game. You were 13.5-point underdogs, and you lost by 6. I mean, I think that this is a good moment. I think Brian Callahan getting fired, I think, sparks something. Maybe they change something in the building. Cam Ward does look better. Brian Callahan is unemployed, and all of a sudden Cam Ward looks better. I think
doubt McCoy will be their coach next year.
I mean, there is a chance. I don't know how big of a chance, but no.
Well, he hasn't won a game yet.
Well, it's the Tennessee Titans we're talking about here. And how many times are you going to win as the Titans? But no, I agree with you. This is what I've been saying. JSN, Sam Darnold, that connection works. Outside of that, I think Kenneth Walker, he's very up and down. And in the red zone, you're sticking with Zach Charbonnet. For my fantasy team, I hate that. But, you got a touchdown, you're fine. I think the running game, they should use it more. 20 carries for 114 yards. That's almost 6 yards a carry. Use it more. You should have used it all day, every day. Minimize Sam Darnold's effectiveness because in the second half, all of a sudden, you look at the numbers, freezes, shrinks. You want to minimize that if you're playing against the Rams back, heading into week 16 in a few weeks here. That's what you want to do. In this game, it was close. When I saw this score at the end of the game, a little bit nervous.
I got this right. I said that the Seahawks wouldn't cover.
I
was right on that one.
I expected the defense to do
point
something.
Coverage, the spread, I didn't do well. I was only 7-7, but I got that one right.
You also got the Ravens. You got the Jets plus 13.5.
Yeah, I got that right by 0.5 point.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
I'm
here we
pissed at that
go.
one too. All right, let's go.
All right, the
Oh,
Vikings in Green Bay. Wilson rushes for 107 yards and 2 TDs and a big win. My takeaway here, McCarthy stinks again with 2 interceptions and a QBR of 17.9. The Packers defense put the pressure on him with 5 sacks combined. At 4-7 and a tough division, I think Minnesota's done. I don't think they're going to, I think it's over for them. Not only is the quarterback a problem, but the defense can't stop the run now. With a rookie, with Wilson, who is not a rookie, I got that mistake, but he hasn't played much. Rushing for 28 carries, 107 yards, and 2 TDs. Second half, the Vikings had 4 yards and 3 turnovers. 4 yards in a whole half. That's all they got. They've lost 5 or 6. The Packers, the Packer punt hit a Viking player, giving the Packers the ball on the Vikings' 5-yard line and an easy score. McCarthy, 12 of 19 for 87 yards. Love was just a game manager in this one because the defense was controlling the game. He was 14 of 21 for 139 yards. Wilson, they just handed the ball off to him all day, and Watson had 5 catches for 49 yards. I feel so sorry for Justin Jefferson. I mean, he's one of the best receivers in the game. He maybe is the best receiver in the game. Didn't get a chance to show it. He had 4 catches for 48 yards. There's nobody to throw him the ball.
Yeah, no. J.J. McCarthy is a terrible quarterback. And the fact that he already has an alter ego, 9, he calls it, that's corny. And, people are, I'll do the same thing that people think are doing to Shedeur Sanders. He's terrible. He's not great. I don't care about, it's the same thing with Trey Lance. When you look terrible, I don't care how big your serving size is. I don't care how much, data we have on you. If you're a quarterback who can't throw, you're a quarterback that can't throw. I mean, we're talking about a guy who you look at his first 6-7 games in the NFL, Jamarcus Russell is better than him. Jamarcus Russell, arguably the biggest bust in NFL, biggest first overall bust in NFL history. In the second and third quarter, J.J. McCarthy, 50% completion percentage, 388 yards, no touchdowns, 7 picks. That is terrible. And also, J.J. McCarthy now ranks 851st out of 852 in EPA per dropback among qualified passers since 2000. The only player worse, Jamarcus Russell. So J.J. McCarthy is a terrible quarterback. Don't have an alter ego. Don't have this big ego because you're bad. And the Packers, I've said it before and I'll say it again, are fraudulent. They really aren't that good. But when you have a quarterback who can't complete passes and just overall isn't good, I think that, you know.
think they should have won more than 23-6?
Oh, 100% they should have. But again, you're playing a respectable defense.
Now, their defense is good.
Yeah,
the
you're playing a
Packers,
respectable
Micah
defense.
Parsons had 2 sacks in this game.
By the way, if you add the fourth quarter, so between the second and the fourth quarter, 4 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. In the first quarter, you're fine. 67% completion percentage, 230 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, passer rating of 111. But you get outside the first quarter, which is scripted most of the time, all of a sudden now you're playing playbook. 4 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. That's pitiful. That's not NFL quarterback. That's not backup. That's like your third string or free agency.
Yeah.
And I think that if this continues, we didn't see him much in the preseason. And there was in the offseason, no, JJ will be ready. He'll be okay. JJ's our guy. We have faith in him. Look at Sam Darnold. Look at Daniel Jones.
I know.
You let them go.
You let both of them go.
Hell, you even let Kirk Cousins go before his Achilles tear. The first 8 games, he was looking like an MVP candidate. And all of a sudden, all these quarterbacks are breaking off.
Yeah. And
you're stuck with J.J. McCarthy. And now, J.J. McCarthy, I believe, is in concussion protocol. You'll be stuck with a rookie quarterback Brosner, I think his name is?
Wentz can't play?
Wentz is done for the year. His shoulder got so banged up. He was playing with a torn labrum, and his whole thing is just obliterated. He could barely throw. So, I mean, the fact that then all of a sudden J.J. McCarthy is perfectly healthy now that, Carson Wentz doesn't have a throwing arm. But I just think that it's a really bad look for the Vikings that you put so much confidence into this guy and for the performance. And it's not for a void of talent. J.J. McCarthy, Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason's had a couple good games. You have talent.
They have a good team.
This is a team that you expect to compete.
The defense has not played as well, but maybe they're tired because they're out on the field the whole game now.
Exactly, yeah. No, and I think, they're still the 11th best defense in the NFL and the 7th best in passing. I just think ultimately this is a team that you expect to compete. They were 14-3 last year with Sam Darnold. Now all of a sudden you're facing down the barrel of an embarrassing losing season. This is their remaining schedule. This is their remaining schedule at Seahawks.
They ain't gonna win that one.
Versus Commanders.
Maybe they win
Let's
that
give
one.
them at Cowboys.
No, I don't think so. The Cowboys are playing pretty good now.
At Giants.
I don't think so. I think the Giants will find a way to win that game.
I don't disagree. Versus Lions.
They'll lose that.
Versus Packers.
I think they'll probably lose that one.
So you're looking
too.
at a 5-12 record.
Yeah.
After just going 14-3.
Yeah.
And there's one major difference.
It's a quarterback.
Starting quarterback.
Yeah.
I think that if that's the
case,
they
blew it. They should have hung on to Darnold.
Exactly. And I think ultimately, J.J. McCarthy doesn't look like the guy. And again, I still have this paper here just to remind myself. This is what we talked about pre-draft of J.J. McCarthy's impact in Michigan. When you have a guy who averaged 17.8 not completions, attempts per game in Michigan, who averaged 155.6 passing yards a game, and now expecting him to throw 30 times in a game against NFL defenses when he wasn't relied upon in Michigan, you're asking for failure. You're asking for somebody.
And given that he has one of the best receiving corps in the league, and he's doing so poorly, it really is very worrisome.
Absolutely. All right, let's get to the next one here.
Okay, here we are, the Giants and the Lions. We talked a lot about the Giants. Giants blow another fourth quarter lead in overtime loss. My takeaway on this one, Jameis Winston lights it up, 366 yards in the air. But with Jahmyr Gibbs rushing for 216 yards, the Giants didn't have a prayer. This one. Gibbs' 69-yard TD run in overtime was the difference in this game. Career high, 264 yards from scrimmage for him. And this, I mentioned this one, but I got to say it again. Kafka, he went for it on 4th and 6 when a field goal would have put them up by 6 points, forcing the Lions to score a touchdown with a minute or so left in the game. Winston threw an incomplete pass to Johnson, and it ruined a 14-play, 86-yard drive. I have to put that loss on Kafka. I'm sorry. Kafka said, we thought that was the place to be aggressive. Well, I don't think so. I think that was a mistake. Bates kicked a 59-yard field goal with 28 seconds left just to tie it, to get it to overtime. That's how desperate the Lions were. The Lions trailed by double digits in this game multiple times. Winston He not only threw touchdown passes, he caught one.
He caught one, yeah.
He caught one, a 33-yard touchdown pass, and he made some nice moves to get into the end zone. The Giants have lost 5 times after leading in the fourth quarter. That's just unacceptable. Jameis Winston, 18 for 36, 366, 2 TDs and an interception. QBR, 83.4. Passer rating, 93.1. I don't know Jameis Winston. I still think he's got it. And he looks like a great quarterback out there. He's a physical specimen. I just wish I don't know, bad luck or whatever it is. He's got to not try to throw in the tight spaces to give up interceptions, but he's not doing it this year. He isn't throwing many interceptions. So, maybe he gets another chance next year. I don't know. Will the Giants bring him back? Maybe.
They should. Absolutely, they should. Yeah. Here's what's interesting. I have 2 little factoids. I already gave my analysis. You could check back. First topic. The Lions scored 3 of their 4 touchdowns on drives for 3 plays or fewer. Explosive plays all around. And also Jameis Winston joins Matt Ryan as one of 2 players since 1960 to throw for 350-plus yards, 2+ touchdowns, and catch 1 touchdown in a game. The last time that happened, Matt Ryan against Tampa Bay, December 30th of 2018. So Jameis Winston played his heart out. I mean, he absolutely played an incredible game. They even ran the football well. They ran the ball, decently well. I just think ultimately, the defense, I don't know what you could do. And here's the thing. Justin Herbert dealt with the same thing. Herbert's just, a tier above all these Giants quarterbacks. So, there were a few more wins on the table here, but it's the same thing.
So here's a question for you. Do you think Dart is going to get back in there?
They're being cautious with him. Apparently he made the trip to Detroit. So he was able to do that. He just couldn't play for this one. Against the Patriots,
I bet it's going to be Winston.
I would go Winston because
I think the Patriots have a hard time winning that game.
I think with Winston, I agree. I think that Dart is still a little too inexperienced and too risky. That I think that he'll make a couple more mistakes where Jameis Winston can throw 5 picks in a game. But I just think that there's something about Jameis Winston just slinging it. It gets to the guy. I mean, there were some huge, huge receptions in this game. Isaiah Hodgins had a couple great catches. Wan'Dale Robinson had a great game. So I think
Robinson had a career game.
He played out of his mind. Theo Johnson also played well.
9 catches, 156 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Winston had a catch, 33 yards, and a touchdown.
He also broke a tackle, spun, and then went to the end zone.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a hell of a play.
It was a game. He threw for 366 yards. The guy can play.
Yeah, 100%. Now, again, will he throw several interceptions? Yes.
You know what? The Vikings should have picked him up.
That's not a bad one.
Right? They could have picked him up, and O'Connell could have worked with him. Jameis Winston could have been another Darnold of last year. Really? I'm serious. He needs the right coach.
Well, if we remember, last year for the Browns, Winston came against the Steelers. Remember that snowy Thursday game and beat them?
Yeah.
Beat them. And then also, if we remember, against the Denver Broncos, he kept throwing interceptions, but that was a nip and tuck game.
Yeah, but he threw a
I think he threw a pick six in that one. He had a couple more interceptions as well. He had 3 picks in that one.
Yeah.
But he threw
with the right coach. He needs the right coach. He should go. I would say the Vikings should pick him up for next year.
He threw 497 yards in that game against the Broncos. That Broncos defense, which was still great last year.
Yeah.
So, I think Jameis Winston,
I like Jameis Winston.
Starting a quarterback, I mean, we talked about him on the Saints. We were still praising him. We thought he was a great quarterback.
Hey, when he had Sean Payton as his coach.
14 touchdowns, 3 picks.
Yeah, and he got hurt.
Yeah.
So he never got really back in there.
All right, let's go to the next one there.
Okay, here we are with the Jaguars and the Cardinals. Lawrence throws 3 TDs and an overtime win over the Cards. My takeaway here, the Cardinals are defined by losing the close one, which makes me believe at the end of the season, Gannon will be done. I don't know how they can keep him. I mean, he's losing every game. Lawrence threw 3 DDs and Little kicked the 52-yard field goal in overtime for the win. But Lawrence, and having a game where he throws 3 TDs, guess what? He also had 3 interceptions. Yeah. They've won 3 or 4 now. They're back in it. The Jaguars. The Cardinals have lost 8 of 9. Cardinals elected to go for it on 4th instead of kick a 60-yard field goal for the tie at the end in overtime. I can understand why they'd do that, I guess. The Jags have won despite 4 turnovers, so as you mentioned, 3 interceptions by Lawrence. Cardinals forced overtime after an 80-yard drive and a 29-yard field goal. And Jacoby Brissett, another very good game, 33 of 49, 317, and a touchdown. And they had no running game at all. So guy named Wilson, I'm not sure who he is, had 10 catches for 118 yards, which is pretty good.
He's a very good receiver.
So I think Jacoby Brissett, who knows, maybe he'll find himself a job. Maybe he'll go to the Vikings next year. I don't know.
Well, I'll say this. Trevor Lawrence hasn't earned his money. The last, 4 games? He's 3-1, sure, but he averages 196.8 yards, 5 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, a passer rating of 76.5. Trevor Lawrence is not a good quarterback. He really isn't. Getting $55 million to put up way below, average numbers and average efficiency. I mean, it's the defense that's done a great job here and there. But I think right now, running game did a great job in this one. Travis Etienne, 15 carries, 86 yards, 5.7 yards a carry. He was great. Trevor Lawrence, he ran it pretty decently. But no, this game was way too close. I did pick the Jaguars. They were my only other Harvey Hot Hand pick. Harvey Hot Hand win besides the Browns plus 3.5. But this game was too close for comfort. And I'll give them this. They're still keeping the Chiefs out. That's the biggest thing for them right now. They're keeping the Chiefs out. And the Chiefs still, by the way, I think are in 9th place, 8th place. They still have to pass the Texans and I think one other team before they're even able to make the playoffs. So as long as the Jaguars keep it up, they will shut the Chiefs out. They, I think, have the best shot at shutting them out.
Yeah.
So
we'll have to wait and see.
Keep it up for the Jaguars there. But no, the Cardinals, they're just a bad team, and I kind of agree with you. Jonathan Gannon and maybe even Kyler Murray, he may be gone by the end of the year. Yeah. I think there's a shot there. So, yeah. Let's go to the next one.
Okay, the Browns and the Raiders. We talked a lot about this already. I'll only give my my takeaway from this. Sanders gets win and first career start. Sanders gets first win, lifts Browns' offensive gloom. With listless way the Raiders played, has Pete Carroll lost the Raiders' locker room? Is my question. I mean, you look at the Raiders when the guy, when Sanders threw the little out pass and the guy ran 66 yards to the TD, it's like the Raiders would just stand there watching him. Here it is. Watch. These guys, are they really trying? Look, they're not even trying. I mean, they make a little run, chase him down there, but they weren't going to catch him. I don't know about Pete Carroll, whether he's going to wind up staying with them. I feel bad for him. I like Pete Carroll, but they're really bad. I'm sorry. And now Stefanski's committed to Sanders for the 49ers game. It'll be interesting to see how he plays against that defense and that team, which is 8-4 now and rolling pretty well. So Garrett, he's got 14 sacks in the past 5 games. He's going to break the record this year by quite a bit, I think. I think he'll have it here in a few games. So it was pretty good for him. I'm okay with Shedeur Sanders. I do think our comments about him and being more of a team player and making more comments about the team instead of himself would help him out a lot.
I want to say I want to make a prediction. I'm curious because why not? What game against whom? Will Myles Garrett surpass the sack record? Because currently, what is he at? 18 sacks, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, 18.
18 sacks. They play the 49ers. Does he get the, 4.5 required to tie?
In one game?
In one game.
No.
So, no. How about, this is going to be easy. I say he has 2 games. Tennessee is the game after the Niners.
Oh, yeah. He'll get it then.
So, and by the way, that would be in 14 games.
Yeah, so you have 3 more to distance himself from anybody trying to catch him in the future.
I'm willing to make a prediction right now. I think there's a shot, an outside shot. How many games left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think Myles Garrett could get 10 more sacks. In fact, I think there's a shot he gets 30 for this season.
30 sacks.
Because think about the bad offensive lines he's going to go up against. Think just real quick. Against the Steelers' offensive line, if Rodgers is out there and can't move, he might get that. The Bengals' offensive line with Joe Burrow with his turf toe, is he going to be running away from pressure? I don't think so. Cam Ward, that offensive line's a joke. I think he may get like 3 sacks just against Tennessee. The 49ers in that okay offensive line, I'll see what Trent Williams does. The Bears is going to be interesting because Caleb moves a lot. If you can get him up the middle and bring him down to the shot, it might be a crazy prediction. I think he could get 10 more to make it, 28? There's an outside shot. He gets 30. He needs, two a game?
He'd be the defensive player of the year if he gets 30
I mean,
sacks.
no, he already is. I think this is runaway.
Oh, yeah, he's probably
this is runaway.
Anyway, yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you. I think it takes 2 more games to get the 4.5, the 5 needed to pass the record there.
Okay, we'll be watching that. Okay, next game here, the Falcons against the Saints. Cousin emerges from the darkness, throws 2 TDs. My takeaway here, Kirk Cousin emerges from the darkness to throw 2 TDs and Falcons win. These losses by the Saints must be getting under Kellen Moore's skin, right? I mean, for the Saints, what have they won? How many games?
2.
2 games. And I think Kyler Shook, he looks okay. I think they need some players around him. Atlanta ends their 5-game losing streak on the strength of Cousins' performance, I think. Penix is out for the season with a knee injury. The Saints didn't score a TD in this game. Shook played well, but was sacked 5 times and lost a fumble. The Saints failed 3 times in the red zone. A high snap at the 5-yard line to Hill led to an intentional grounding. You wouldn't see that very often, and a field goal instead of a touchdown. They could have been in the game if they'd gotten the touchdown there. Shook was 30 of 43, 243, and an interception. He was also their leading rusher. They had no running game at all. 7 rushes for 22 yards. Olave had 9 catches for 70 yards. I don't know. Can Atlanta climb back into it? It looks like the Bucs are falling apart.
Well, that's
right?
Injuries.
Even so, they're falling apart right now, and now Atlanta has 4 wins. The Bucs have 6 wins.
Well, here's also, I can't believe it, but it's true. Atlanta doesn't need to just pass the Bucs. They need to pass the Panthers, who are currently a half game below the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
For the number 1 spot in the NFC South.
Yeah.
So,
who are the Panthers got left?
The Panthers, well, I don't think that matters too much just because they're such a weird team. Rams, loss. Complete loss. At Saints,
they might win. They'll probably win that.
Bucks?
I don't know. The Bucs will be fighting for their lives in that game.
Seahawks, Bucks.
Seahawks and Bucks again.
Yeah.
I don't think the Panthers will make it. I think they probably split, right? With the
Okay,
Panthers and the Bucs, they probably split.
So then the Saints and the Seahawks.
So who have the Bucs got left? Who do they have left?
The Buccaneers, obviously, they end Panthers, Panthers.
Yeah.
It's Cardinals, Saints, Falcons, Panthers, Dolphins, Panthers. That's a significantly easier schedule.
Yeah.
I think
probably the Falcons aren't going to catch the Bucs.
I think with Bucky Irving coming back, you're going to beat the Cardinals. I think you beat the Saints. The Falcons game will be interesting. I think you split with the Panthers, and then the at Dolphins game, I think, will be.
Mm-hmm. Who do the Falcons have left?
The Falcons, they have the Jets this week.
They should win that.
Oh, this is a more difficult schedule. Seahawks.
They have to play the Seahawks?
Yeah.
They're going to win that.
They're going to win that.
Oh, they could go win that one.
Okay, so then at Tampa.
They're going to they play the Bucs pretty well, usually.
They lost by 3 in week 1.
Yeah, I think they beat them in this one.
Okay, with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. Arizona, at Arizona.
They'll win that.
Versus Rams.
Nope.
Versus Saints.
Yes.
Okay, so you're saying the Falcons can make it a little bit interesting. The Bucs will probably win, though, and the Panthers will slip a little.
I think
you're right. No, I'll say for this game, though, Kirk Cousins played shockingly okay. He had over 100.
Why were you shocked? I mean, he's a quality quarterback.
Last time we saw him, first of all, he lost his prior 6 games. He got benched after throwing, 4 interceptions, maybe 5 interceptions against the Chargers, who put up, 17 points against the Falcons, who had no pass rush last year. That's why he ultimately got benched. He wanted out. They didn't let him out. Then he came in, after Penix got hurt, didn't look great. So I was expecting the Saints just to be good. But you're right, they had no running game. 29 carries for 79 yards. That's 2.8 yards a carry. We have to realize that a tight end and Tyler Shough were 2 of their top 3 rushers. That's unacceptable all
And
around.
B.J. Robinson didn't have such
yeah.
a great game in this one. 14 carries for 70 yards. I mean, he's supposed to be the best player in the league according to his coach.
Yeah, I don't know
Morris.
about that. Let's go to we're getting there slowly but surely.
Okay, this was a good game. We watched this one. The Eagles and the Cowboys. Cowboys come back from a 21-point deficit. My takeaway here, Eagles blow 21-point lead. Prescott leads furious comeback to succeed. The game by Prescott and Pickens, they both had great games. Maybe Jerry Jones' trades to bolster the defense were a good idea as they stopped the Eagles' running game cold. Is Pickens now the number one Cowboys receiver? That's my question to you when I finish my take here. Sure. He makes circus catches and piles up yardage and touchdowns. And you saw CeeDee Lamb drop a touchdown pass in this game. Prescott broke Romo's passing yards record with 34,378 yards now. And his stat line, 23 of 36, 354 yards, 2 DDs and an interception. And Williams had 20 carries for 87 yards. Pickens, 9 receptions, 146 yards, and a touchdown. Lamb, 4 catches for 75 yards and a drop touchdown pass.
Well, I'll answer your question. As of right now, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I agree.
Pickens has been the better wide receiver on the Dallas Cowboys. He's had some incredible explosive catches. He's had incredible catches in, mossing, the defensive back. I think that Pickens has been an incredible addition on the field. Wait till, contract situations fall into play and Jerry Jones gives him the franchise tag. Wait to see how he responds to that. Because we remember Mike Tomlin was done with him, partially for his on the field, mainly for his off the field antics, which then translated to him not blocking, complaining about targets, complaining about Russell Wilson.
But you haven't had any of that this year. None of that this year.
Right. Wait for a little bit of adversity right now. I'm just saying, wait till the end of the year. Wait for a little bit of adversity if he's not satisfied with getting the franchise tag. He wants the $30+ million deal, and maybe he'll give it. Maybe Jerry Jones will give it to him.
For the Cowboys to give it to him with their salary situation.
Well, yeah, I would agree with that, and I just think this is a tremendous.
But do you
team.
think Jerry Jones's trades were a good idea? The defense played well in this game.
I was for them. You were the one against them. The Quinnen Williams move you didn't love. I think the big one is just getting a couple of your players healthy. Omarion Overshone has been great. Has been really, really good. Logan Wilson's been fine. Williams has been a great impact player for them. So I think the defense looks a little bit better because you're generating a better pass rush. Without Micah Parsons.
But they're stopping the run, too. Saquon Barkley, 22. What do you have, 22 yards?
Yes. He had arguably his
22
worst
yards
game.
on 10 carries.
Right. And I think that's a really, really good position for the Cowboys to be in because they're one of the worst defenses in the NFL.
Plus, he fumbled the ball. Didn't he fumble in this game?
It was a bad fumble. So the Cowboys are playing much, much better, and I think that this was a really, really good win. You're down by 21, and in the second half, you dry up the Philly offense. What I find interesting is you lost in horrific fashion, 24 unanswered points. However, baby A.J. Brown had his 10 targets, 8 catches for 110 yards, and he scored a touchdown. Nothing on social media. He doesn't care about winning. He does not care about winning because this would be an opportunity to go on social media and complain. Instead, hush, hush, we have from him. You know why? 10 targets, 8 catches, 110 yards.
It's all about him.
And he scored. Exactly.
It's all about him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he doesn't care about winning because if he did, I would be on social media about this game. How the hell did we put up 0 points in the second half against one of the worst defenses in the NFL? I don't know. It's a good question to have. All right, let's go to the next one here.
All right. As we go, the Bucs and the Rams. Rams blow out Bucs to improve to 9-2, and we talked about the Rams being the best team in the NFL right now. And my takeaway here: the Bucs season has gone from breathtaking wins to bleak, while the Rams are performing at their peak. The Rams are the best team in the NFL with a great offense and an imposing defense. They dominated the Bucs. Mayfield hurt his shoulder. And you see that play where he went for the first down and he split the 2 players and they just creamed him. And that's when he hurt his shoulder. But I give him credit. I mean, Baker Mayfield he's all in. I think anybody would want to be a teammate of his because he's really, he puts his heart and soul in it. Stafford playing like an MVP. He's 308 attempts now without an interception. Nakua-Adams combo is one of the best. The Rams defense gave up only 193 yards in this game. And once Mayfield went out, it was over for sure because, as you said, Bridgewater was terrible. Stafford, 25 of 35, 273 yards, 3 touchdowns. He throws 3 or 4 touchdowns in every game. Nakua, 7 receptions, 97 yards. Adams, 5 of 62 and 2 TDs. They're lethal.
Yeah, I completely agree. This Bucs team, way too shaky. Way too shaky. And I think that the Rams, they look unstoppable. Because think about just their team in general. Kyren Williams and Blake Corum, they had a fumble thing early in the season. That seems to have cleared up, and Blake Corum's had some impact plays. Devontae Adams looks like prime Devontae Adams. Puka Nacua looked like the offensive player of the year early in the season and has been incredibly dominant through and through. The tight end group that they have has been incredible. Matt Stafford, 25 touchdowns, no picks last 8 games, and the defense is coming up in some big-time spots. So I think that they are a fully complete team, and I'm excited. I really am excited to see just how far that this team can go. But I will say, there are some teams out there that could make it interesting. Because the Eagles already beat them on that blocked thing, on the blocked would have been game-winning field goal, and it was a Jordan Davis ran 60-something yards and screwed up the point spread for me. That happened. And then you also had the Seahawks, who only lost by 2, but Sam Darnold had 4 picks. So what would that game look like? And Stafford didn't play particularly well. If it would need to be the Super Bowl, but the Denver Broncos and that defense, what would that defense do to Matt Stafford? These are all questions that I have thinking about what teams could play against them and make Stafford uncomfortable. Minimize Devontae Adams' execution in the red zone. Minimize Puka Nacua's effectiveness. Or maybe find a weakness in the defense that, we can't see on a weekly basis because they've been so good against some of these teams. So I think right now, just look at it at face value. The Rams are by far the best team. I do think, though, we have seen some games where, yes, they've gotten the win. It just hasn't been games like this where they blow out everybody and this game's done, by the end of the first quarter. So,
well, they win the close ones because they have a great coach.
Yeah, I think that's the most important thing. Think about Shane Steichen playing scared, Andy Reid's making all these teams that are maybe a little bit inexperienced, good but inexperienced, play to the Chiefs' will. Bending them, bend, don't break. That's what the Chiefs did against the Colts. You're down by 11, and all of a sudden, Spagnuolo turns the dial up on the pressure. Steichen's like, yeah, we're really good on 4th down, but we're not going to go for it. Let's not give it to our best guy. Let's put it in the hands of Daniel Jones, who plays good under, an effective scheme. But if the scheme just breaks because you're scared, well, then, you both are up against it. Yeah. So I think, Sean McVay, top 3 coach right now in the NFL. I don't think that's, really arguable whatsoever. So big time win for the Rams.
Okay, here we go. The Panthers against the 49ers. McCaffrey has big night as 49ers beat the Panthers. And my takeaway, it's lucky for the 49ers that McCaffrey had a big night because with 3 interceptions, Brock Purdy didn't put up much of a fight. McCaffrey, 142 yards from scrimmage and a TD. Overcame 3 interceptions by Brock Purdy in the first half. A week after he threw 448 yards, Bryce Young couldn't do much, only 169 yards. Robert Saleh has the 49ers defense playing well, even without Bosa and Warner. They stopped the Panthers' running game cold. Dowdle only had 6 carries for 38 yards, and Dowdle was the leading receiver with 4 catches for 36 yards. The Panthers, you don't know what you're going to get with them. I mean, 448 yards last week for Bryce Young, and he gets almost a little more than a quarter of that in this game. And Brock Purdy, 23 of 32, 193, and 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions. He better do better than that. I mean, last year, he was hurt a little bit, but he's throwing a lot of interceptions last year. I wonder if he's, whether he's going to turn into a quarterback that throws a lot of interceptions because he didn't do that in his first couple of years when he was great. And now he's got this giant contract, and Mac Jones breathing down his neck. I think Mac Jones could have played better in this game than Brock Purdy did.
Well, I think it's funny. Let's just go down about the Purdy thing, because I've been on this from the very beginning. I respected Brock Purdy, but I also realized that it's the system. Let's go. Here's a little number for you. Let's do a little bit of trivia. 2+ interceptions and a half. Who leads the NFL in that exact statistical category?
Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy does. Joe Flacco has 6. Trevor Lawrence has 6. Brock Purdy has 8 in the last 3 seasons. All right, let's keep going. Interception on 3 straight drives the last 4 seasons. Can you name any of these 5 quarterbacks? Just list off bad quarterbacks. You're gonna.
What is it they did? What is
interception on 3 straight drives the last 4 seasons?
Interception on 3. Brock Purdy's one of them.
Brock Purdy.
Josh Allen.
3 of them are really bad quarterbacks.
Okay, Bryce Young.
Bryce Young's not on this list. One of them's a backup right now on the Dolphins, I think. Yeah. No, I think it's on the Dolphins. I don't know. One's Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson, yeah, was on the Dolphins. I think they inactivated him.
One's quarterback that we actually talked about today that we both love. We talked about him today. I think.
Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston. Yeah. And then one of them's let's see, Southern quarterback. I make fun of him a lot.
Baker Mayfield?
No, bad quarterback.
Oh, bad quarterback.
Freeze. Tua.
Tua.
And the last one's Dak.
Dak Prescott.
Yeah. No, like Brock Purdy has not been great. And I think that this is another
I'm sure
example.
the 49ers are worried.
I would be too.
Yeah.
Because you saw what Mac Jones did with less talent than Purdy has out there now, because he didn't ever keep Pearsall. He had George Kittle for a couple games. I mean, we're seeing what Brock Purdy's looking like, and he's throwing interceptions. He doesn't have Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, and look what he looks like. I thought, people were always like, last year, he was all banged up. The team was banged up.
Yeah.
We see Mac Jones. And by the way, we didn't see another quarterback play with the injured and the banged up team and the team with all these weapons.
And when he throws the ball down the field, he puts it in harm's way.
Correct, because this year he's 1 touchdown, 4 interceptions, pass rating at 85.1 on deep passes this year. He has not been good. And one of the interceptions, I'll give credit to Jeremy Chin. The one over the middle, and all of a sudden you see was it Jeremy Chin? Who just comes right across the field and just, takes it, just completely just destroys that pass. Brock Purdy, I've said this, you can't have him have 31 touches in several games. You just can't. Because at some point he's going to hit a wall. His career says he's going to get injured at some point, and he's going to hit a wall. And then what are you going to be stuck with? Brian Robinson? You got to give other players, more touches.
I give the 49ers credit to have 8 wins at this point.
J.C. Horn, not Jeremy Chin. J.C. Horn.
How many people have been injured on that? How many players are injured on their team?
A lot.
They have 8 wins.
Here's the thing. They're always injured.
Their coaching is excellent.
They're always injured. So you have to factor
I know. They're
that
always
in.
injured. I don't get that.
Every single season, you have to factor in that they're always going to be banged up.
They have the 2 best defensive players out for the year now.
Right.
And been out for a long time already.
Well, yeah, Fred Warner, he was the last one to go. But yeah, Bosa, he was banged up. But I'll say this. The excuse that the Niners, we're really banged up this year. You're always banged up every year. Every team's injured. You just happen to be more banged up than any other team.
Super Bowl year, they were pretty healthy all year. Super Bowl year, they were very healthy.
You could have these healthy seasons, but ultimately, no, this is a 49ers team that can't get out of their own way, and they just keep getting injured. Sometimes it's crazy, like Dre Greenlaw tearing his Achilles while getting back onto the field against the Chiefs. That happens. I just think that the 49ers are one of those teams that you have to factor injuries in. All right, let's get into our Thanksgiving games, because there's 3 of those, and there's a Black Friday game.
Yeah.
So this was looking like the first game of Thanksgiving. Green Bay Packers at the Detroit Lions. The Lions, I was actually a little bit surprised by this. The Lions are 2.5-point favorites on Thanksgiving. So let's go with your pick here. Who are you taking, the Packers or the Detroit Lions?
The Lions and the points.
Really? You're taking the Lions here? Here's my concern. If Micah Parsons...
It's Thanksgiving, Nate.
I know.
I've been watching the Lions play on Thanksgiving since like 1958.
Wow.
I mean, I remember the Milt Plum beat the Green Bay Packers on Thanksgiving on 1960. I was watching the game. It was a snowing game. It was snowy. And Milt Plum beat the Packers. And the Packers, they were under Vince Lombardi back then.
Right.
And the Lions won that game, and they're going to beat them on Thursday.
Well, I'm a Lions fan. I'm going to take the Lions here. I think that they have to figure something out. You're going up against a Packers team that I think is very fraudulent. you're in a weird spot. You lost them already. This is a revenge game. Week 1, they embarrassed you. And I think, and I'm pretty sure Micah Parsons may have been on a snap count or didn't even play in that game. Now they've basically unleashed Micah. So if Micah can get to you, Jared Goff loves to, for some reason, just collapse. Run the damn football. Just give it to Jahmyr Gibbs.
That makes a good. That makes
plenty of
pretty
sense.
good sense. Yeah, I think so. The way he's playing, he's playing great.
Yeah, no, I will take the Lions here. I think the Packers are fraudulent, so I'll take the Lions, and I agree with you. I'll take the points.
Okay.
All right, the next one. Chiefs, Cowboys, playing in Dallas. Chiefs coming off a big-time win, down by 11, coming back against the Indianapolis Colts, while the Cowboys down 21 points, able to come back 24 unanswered and beat the Philadelphia Eagles. The Chiefs are 3 points, 3.5-point favorites on the road in Dallas. Who are you taking, and who's covering for this game?
I'm taking the Cowboys.
In the upset. Wow.
Yep.
That's a shock.
Thanksgiving. Cowboys play on Thanksgiving now. They played on Thanksgiving for many, many years now. Had some great games on Thanksgiving. They're America's team, and I think they have to win. It's a must-win for them. They're 5-5, 5-1 now.
They're still in playoff
They're
contention.
still in playoff contention. If they can beat the Chiefs in this game, it gives them a big shot in the arm and boost them up in the chances to get to the playoffs. And the Chiefs, they won that game against the Colts. They shouldn't have won it, right? They shouldn't have won that game. They had to kick 5 field goals to win that game.
Yeah.
That's not a way to win. The Chiefs are not the same. I think the Cowboys find a way to win.
Here's my concern. I am picking the Chiefs, and I'll take the Chiefs to cover here because I do not like this defense. They're dead last on third down defensively. They're 30th in the red zone defensively. They're 30th against the pass. They're 22nd against the run. Isaiah Pacheco's coming back, but I do think the acquisition of Quinn Williams and Demarion Overshown coming into this game, I think that could, be an interesting play. And the main thing is, if you get Mahomes shaking a little bit in the pocket, which we saw what the Denver Broncos did. The Colts didn't do a great job at pressuring Mahomes up the middle and then collapsing around him. That's how teams beat him. The Eagles did it in the Super Bowl. The Bucs did it way back when to beat them in the Super Bowl. If you're able to keep the edges and pressure him up the middle, Mahomes can't go anywhere. So instead of looking down the field, he's looking at the offensive line. He's looking at the pressure coming. If the Cowboys are able to generate that level of pressure, that's where you're going to be dead on accurate because this secondary gets cooked like no other. And I think Dak playing at a high level, that's going to be interesting how this defense holds up. But I am going to take the Chiefs because they're the better coach team. The Cowboys don't have a great defense, and Mahomes capitalizes on bad passing defenses. I'll take the Chiefs, but I'll say this like I did again, for the Super Bowl on the 49ers. America wants the Cowboys. America does not want the Chiefs. They see the Chiefs have a massive weakness. They're out of the playoffs right now. Outside of Kansas City, I don't know many fan bases or teams that want the Chiefs in the playoffs. So a lot of people are rooting for the Cowboys, but I will take the Chiefs to win and cover on Thanksgiving. The third Thanksgiving game, the night one, Joe Burrow's return game against the Baltimore Ravens and shaky Lamar Jackson, who says he's healthy, but it doesn't look that healthy. It's rough. The Bengals coming off a narrow loss against the New England Patriots. We're on the New England 26, 4th and 10, and Flacco couldn't complete the pass, while the Baltimore Ravens able to get a big-time victory over the New York Jets, but we're down 7-3 at halftime to Tyrod Taylor and the Jets. So who are you taking? Bengals at Ravens, Thanksgiving night.
I'm taking the Ravens, but I don't think they cover.
So you're taking Bengals +7.
Yeah.
I'm taking Bengals outright win. I think Joe Burrow's return game, he could have played probably last week, and I think he was taking first-team reps for a couple of the practices that week. I think, you could look at history, you could all this. I'm taking a look at a team that the Ravens can be got. You're down 7-3 at halftime against the New York Jets. I think Joe Burrow right now, I think he has a fire in him. Obviously, he still wants to play. The Bengals are 3-8. They haven't been eliminated yet. But they need to win out, and a couple teams need to lose out.
If they win out, they're going to be 9-8. They didn't get to the playoffs 9-8 last year.
Well, you obviously need
look at
some
all
help.
the other teams that are playing so much better.
Well, you have some teams that maybe not be there, like the Jacksonville Jaguars at 7-4, the Chargers who are at 7-4, the Bills who are at 7-4. There's a window. There is a window, and also
you think that the 7-4 teams are going to wind up at 9-8?
Maybe. Who knows?
I don't think so.
I'm just saying.
No way.
I'm just
There's
saying.
too
Who
many
knows?
teams ahead of the Bengals.
Who knows?
With good records for them to get in it. They aren't in it. They're not going to make it.
How about this? Crazier things have happened. I picked Shedeur Sanders to win his first ever game in the NFL. I got that right. I'm saying the Bengals, they got something here. Give me the Bengals outright win. Burrow gets it done in Baltimore. Baltimore looks a little bit shaky, and that defense.
That's another thing. They're playing in Baltimore.
Oh, and also Jamar Chase is back, his favorite guy. T. Higgins is probably out. I think he's still in concussion protocol. But I will take the Bengals in the victory, upset over the Baltimore Ravens. And finally, the Black Friday game on Amazon Prime. We have the Chicago Bears 7-point underdogs in Philadelphia. This is a big-time spot for both of these teams. The Eagles coming off a soul-crushing loss to the Dallas Cowboys, up 21-0 at one point and then falling apart 0 points at halftime. And the Chicago Bears going back and forth with Mason Rudolph ultimately getting a 3-point win, 31-28. Big-time spot for both these teams. The Chicago Bears leading the NFC North with an 8-3 record, and Philadelphia also 8-3 record, able to, they have a pretty decent gap over the Dallas Cowboys in the NFC East. So who are you taking in this one? Bears, Eagles, go.
I'm taking the Eagles, but they don't cover.
I'm going to match you there. Eagles win, but they don't cover. I don't trust the Eagles right now. There's a lot of great things about the Eagles, and then there's a lot of terrible things about the Eagles.
They have a decent defense. I think their offense is questionable.
Oh, and also just to back up.
They got some head cases on offense with A.J. Brown.
To back up my beautiful Cincinnati Bengals pick, Lamar is going to play, obviously. Kyle Hamilton, safety, linebacker, edge rusher. He could play anything. Limited in practice this week. Something to keep your eye on. So, I'm taking the Eagles. They win. Bears do end up getting the cover, which is, I believe, a 3 o'clock game on Friday. So, on Friday, we're going to be covering this game. Maybe it still goes well during the show, but
it's overtime. We can do play-by-play.
Live
if
play-by-play.
It's overtime, we'll do live play-by-play.
Yeah, so we'll cover this game. We'll cover all the Thanksgiving games as well. There's a lot to talk about. Harvey hot hand, by the way. Do I take one now? No, I'm not going to.
You're not going to pick any of these games for the hot hand?
The one I would pick is the Lions -2.5, but I don't know.
Okay, well.
You know what? We're going to pencil it in. Since I said it on the show, we'll pencil in Lions -2.5. Okay. But you'll see on Friday. I'll have 5 picks for Friday anyway, so this might be the 6th pick. But depending on if I cover, I may have 4 picks. Who knows? Yeah, that rounds up today's show, though. What a show it was. And let's get back on it. I hit the wrong button.
The Harvey 2-hour instead of the Harvey hour.
You know that the weekly report thing. It's good. We cover every game, basically. It's good. So if you want to come in, hear your favorite team, nobody's talking Falcons, Saints, because nobody cares about the teams. Nobody's talking the Titans. We will. It's good. I like the weekly report there. All right. Thanks so much for staying with us today's show. Nice long show. Good to be back after a little bit of a break while, I'm still fighting over here, playing some good defense. Coming on we're the Los Angeles Rams.
Oh, yeah?
We're the Los Angeles Rams here. We have the offense, we have the defense. We're good now. Ebb and flow here, but we're coming on top here. So, yeah, there was a good show today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We thank you for the constant support as always. If you want to support the show, hit that subscribe button down below. Also, click that notification bell to get notified whenever we upload a video and whenever we go live. But for this episode of the Harvey Hour, my name's Nathan Harvey. That's my dad, Stephen Harvey. We have been your co-hosts of the Harvey Hour. Catch us Friday, Black Friday. We'll cover all the games, all Thanksgiving games. We'll cover the game that just ended right as we start the show, Bears Eagles. We'll cover all that, as well as make our remaining picks for Week 13. All of that Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube.
Hi, Grandpa.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. Stay safe on public Wi-Fi. Get NordVPN's special offer and encrypt your internet connection. NordVPN. Online security starts